Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our MIT call, Millionaires in Trading. This is the Monday night leadership call that we do here at Zija International, and we generally focus in on the higher level concepts, skills, some of the habits, disciplines required to reach high levels of success in network distribution in Zija International in our company. So I'd like to extend a warm welcome to, of course, all of our team leaders from around North America, probably other parts of the world, and a special welcome if there are any guests online tonight. If you are a guest online tonight and you're new, you're just now getting exposed to Zija International, you may have some questions regarding product and or the company or other aspects of our business, and I'm sure the person who invited you to this call this evening will guide you to the appropriate material to get all of your questions answered. This particular call is more focused on becoming successful in the business, what's really required to create a significant residual income, and significant meaning, a six-figure annual income over time, and for some who have higher aspirations, multiples of that, or even six figures monthly. I am speaking to you from my home office this evening. Good to be home since we've been on the road for the last couple of months, touring upwards of about 25 cities on several continents. It's nice to be home and back to building the business from the comfort of a home office, speaking on a conference call. And so yes, we can build the business in person at local events, such as all of the tours that we've had in many different provinces in Canada, many different states in the U.S., and of course in several countries in Europe also. And all of that to continue to assist others who are a part of the team to advance their business. And I want to talk a little bit about that this evening, about the concept of contributing to other people's success, creating an environment for others to have success, and by simply doing that, we create success for ourselves. We can actually create financial freedom, residual income, financial success, security, simply by helping others have success. And that really is the essence of what we do in network distribution, in network marketing. For those of you that haven't met me, I think I want to just digress back to my own personal story just to give you some context of what is possible and what is happening for many, many people here at Zija International, and what will happen for you so long as you follow a few simple fundamental steps consistently. My background was in the trades, so I did not graduate college or university with any particular degree in anything or any profession. I simply worked with my hands, and I worked a 40-hour work week. And I think probably most people are accustomed to having a job of sorts and being paid on a 40-hour work week, which of course has many limitations in that we have really no freedom. We've got to be up at a certain time, go to work, and come home and get 2 weeks a year, and hopefully a small raise once a year. It usually doesn't keep up with the cost of living going up. And that's how most people in North America, as we all know, go through their working lives. And most for 40 years, and now I would think even longer than that, given the state of things. And theoretically, we're supposed to retire with security. And for probably 90+% of everybody, that is not the case. And so, having one's own business is probably the single best option to take full control of our own economic security, our own personal security, the security of our families. And I was fortunate. I worked in the family business, had a certain amount of security, but it was hard work, and it was basically still a job because I didn't own the business. The family owned it, and I probably wouldn't have got the business until, my 50s or 60s. Right about now. In fact, my uncle still works there, and he's 85, so he hasn't given up the business yet. I ended up in business with my brother in my mid-20s in collectible car restoration. And that was a great business, but it was more of a hobby than it was a business in terms of creating time freedom and total financial security. Once we have all of that taken care of, then we can really do the things that we want. And yes, we can then make a difference in other people's lives, contribution, or other things that can give us fulfillment. So I was introduced to this business of person-to-person marketing, network distribution. I was 27 years old. I went to a presentation, and the concept of leverage is what was explained. I mean, they talked about the product, they talked about the company, but there was a significant focus on this idea of leverage. And leverage simply meaning that we have a business model, we have a platform here that allows us to be paid on hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of productivity hours. So hours of people putting in time and energy and effort into their business, and we can be paid on not a 40-hour work week based on our own personal efforts, but on thousands of hours of effort and success by building a team. And I thought, what a great concept. What a wonderful way to build personal and financial security. Market a great product that changes people's lives, help others do the same, build a team, and then have absolute freedom and prosperity. And that was the message I got when I was introduced to this business of person-to-person marketing in December of 1989. And I think it's appropriate for me to focus in on that this evening because it is December now of 2013. And so we are 24 years in network distribution this month. It was right about this time, 24 years ago, that I went to my first presentation. And I can tell you today, looking back in retrospect, with all the challenges, all the disappointments, and all of the great moments and success, I can tell you that it's been an incredible journey. And I wish every single person on this line will stay long enough to complete your journey and to become successful, because I can guarantee you this: you follow a few simple steps, you do them consistently, you teach others to do the same, and success is pretty well guaranteed. As long as we don't succumb to all of the negative, skeptical, cynical people who have succumbed to feel that their lot in life is going to be a 40-hour work week working for somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that, make no mistake. However, I believe that people have far more capability given the vehicle. And if a person is given the opportunity and given the appropriate support and the appropriate training, I believe that everybody is capable of creating considerably more prosperity, so long as we have the vehicle to do so. And it's very simple. The reason that we get a job, the reason that we get paid by an employer is because we are bringing value that is considerably more than we're getting paid. Obviously, if we were not bringing more value, then why would a person pay us $40,000 a year, or $100,000 a year, or $80,000 a year, or $20,000 a year? We're going to be paid based on the fact that we are bringing more value than we're getting paid, and so that we're adding value. The company is growing. They're making profit on our efforts. And while if we're capable of adding value to somebody else's company, whatever the job might be, then we are just as capable of adding value to our own business, so long as we have a business model that allows us to do so. Now, the beautiful thing about network distribution, about this business, is that we can start on the strength of a credit card. I mean, that was just great when I was 27 years old, December 1989, to be able to start a business and not having any business knowledge, really, other than, working in the family business, to buy a franchise, a storefront, to have employees, overhead, receivables, payables, wasn't even a concept in those days. It just wasn't even anywhere near in my scope of vision. But to get started in my own little home-based business, that I could start for $1,500 on my credit card and have really no limitations to what was possible, was unbelievable. It was an amazing thing, and so I got started in the industry. But what I quickly learned, and what everybody else should really gather from this call, is that I learned that earning income in network distribution in ZJ International, in this company, is directly proportionate to how many other people we're going to be able to help have success. And so, in other words, the more people that we have having success, and that success could be as simple as somebody having success on the product, but for the most part, the more people that we help have success from an income standpoint. So we help a few people add an extra $200 to $500 to the household income. Which, by the way, doesn't seem like a lot of money, but it'll change most people's lives. It's the difference between owning a home and not owning a home. It would probably have been the difference of not having a financial crisis in 2008 if people had an extra $500 a month coming into the home. And so we show people how to create a little bit of part-time income, and we have enough of those people, well then we start to grow, we start to advance, and we start to create several thousand per month in income. And of course, as that multiplies, and more people start earning, and more people start growing, then that number can become quite substantial. And so when you hear stories of people in this type of a business, in ZJ International, who are now making 6 figures a year, or multiples of that per year, 3, 4, 500,000 a year, or the few people that we have in ZJ that are now over 7 figures a year, and you hear that income is coming in a residual format, a passive format. In other words, it's not income that has to be recreated each week, like our income at a job. Like when I was a glazer, I had to recreate a paycheck every Monday to Friday. So I get paid on Friday, and that was pay for the week. Got to start on Monday to recreate the check. And that's 40 hours of one's life, plus commute time. That's pretty well 1/3 of our life is spent working to create an income to enjoy life outside of that. The idea of having absolute freedom to come and go as you please, to do what you want, to not have to be anywhere other than where you want to be, to go on vacation all year if that's what you choose, and to you want, go to sleep when you want, work when you want, not work when you want, is an amazing concept. I believe, and certainly from going on this tour and speaking to, must be, well, somewhere around 5,000 people throughout this tour, and every single person would want absolute time freedom and the income to enjoy it. I mean, it's obvious. It's not really a question that we need to ask somebody. Everybody would want that. And so really, the question becomes, what does it really take to do it? How do we go about creating that? And the answer is a few simple, fundamental steps, a few principles, a few skill sets that we have to learn, and then all we do is go about teaching them to others. Our business, this business of network distribution, is a business of duplication. It's a business of replication. It's a business of multiplication. And when I understood that, the whole world opened up for me. And it was amazing because on this past tour over these last couple of months, of all the different cities, whether it was in Norway or Sweden or whichever country I was in, didn't matter the language either. I had an interpreter in Norway. So, but the desires, the wants, the needs, the goals, the aspirations of people were all the same. Everybody wants the same thing. They want security. They want the best for their kids. They want good health, obviously. They want to feel fulfilled. They want to make a difference in other people's lives. They want to have purpose. They want to have meaning. They want to have fun. Everybody generally wants the same things. Yes, and the material thing comes all behind that. Yes, I'd like to have a house. I'd like to have a house paid for. I'd like to be debt-free. I'd like to drive a nice car, and so forth. Everybody wants the same things. You know, there are some common denominators. Some may have some of those things, so they need some other things. But in the end, that's what everybody wants. This business, what we do here at mit International, that's what we do. We deliver that. We show people how to get that. We show people how to achieve that. We show people the path. And the path is basically marketing world-class products that are life-changing, a simple system that is easy to duplicate, that is easy to teach. That system is teaching everybody how to introduce to other people. And when we break it down in its simplest terms, our business is about introducing two people and teaching those two people to get two people. Teach two to reach two. That's our whole business in one sentence. Teach two to reach two. And when you've introduced two people successfully, then obviously you can go on to introduce two more and two more after that and two more after that. You don't need to stop at two. Once you've learned how to get two, and getting the second two, or the third or the fourth, fifth person becomes a very mechanical process. Right? And the key is to teach others to do exactly the same. That's our entire business. And learning the skill on how to introduce two people, and then teaching those two how to do exactly what you did with them. And we usually teach by example, so what we do is actually what's going to duplicate. Our business starts to grow. And so a lot of people ask me on this trip, David, how is it that you have upwards of, or pretty close to 200,000 people in your network? And I said, well, I can tell you, I sure didn't introduce 200,000. What I simply did was I introduced a few and taught them how to teach others to do the same. I introduced a few and taught them how to teach others to do the same. And they did that. And the business eventually took a life of its own and started to grow without any of my direct involvement, without any of my personal effort. And now, of course, that has started to duplicate into 40 plus countries and growing by itself, whether I work or not. Not just me, but for many, hundreds and hundreds of people in ZJ International, hundreds of people, soon to be thousands of people in ZJ International, probably within the next 3 to 5 years in upwards of 100 countries. And so, if you're new on this line, we're now, of course, coming close to the holidays, going into a new year, 2014. This is a time where people are evaluating where they are and what can they be doing different going forward. And of course, if we need change, if change would be a good thing right now, if adding a secondary income would be a good thing, if having security would be a good thing, and no doubt, it's a kind of rhetorical question, of course it would be, then we've got to make change. For things to change, we've got to change. For things to get better, we've got to get better. We've got to make those moves. And so, ZJ International as a company, right now, this company is about to go to an entirely new level of growth. I can tell you this from just the experience I've had in all the cities I visited. I've got 3 more cities to visit starting this Thursday, and that will be Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and San Antonio, Texas. I can tell you from all the cities that I've been to since the beginning of November, there is a groundswell of activity that is developing right now. There is major momentum in this company starting to foment right now. And I believe in 2014, next year, we're going to grow by anywhere from $100 to $200 million. That's a lot of growth. Make no mistake, you divide $100 or $200 million in growth amongst the existing active base of people who are business builders, and there's going to be a lot of people who find themselves in a really good place as it relates to a successful business, a residual income. A lot of people. And I would say choose to be one of those people. Not just for the income, for the sake of the income, but for what the freedom and the income will give you, what that security will give you. It will give you the time freedom to do whatever it is that you really want to be doing. It will give you the ability and the resources to help others. Right? Now, if we take care of our own personal needs, we are then in a position to give to others, to do for others. This whole trip that I did, and I'm still doing 25 cities, is really to help the team. It doesn't necessarily advance my own income because of the size of my business. Much of the groups are the group is so big that this is more about me assisting the people who got me to where I am today, and doing something in terms of training that will hopefully help a person move to the next level. It's a beautiful thing to be in that position. There's a lot of people on this line tonight that I heard during the pre-call who are in that position. Like Fred Holmes and a few others who I heard join the call, and some of the people that were here at the very, very beginning when there was just a handful of us. When I say a handful, I'm talking about 10 of us My first month in the business, 10 of us got together. The 10 became 15 for me. The 15 became 211 people at the end of 30 days, just because 15 people duplicated. And of course, 211 now a few years later has become almost 200,000 people. I believe that within the next 3 to 5 years, Azija will grow to 1 million distributors. There'll be 1 million of us in upwards of 100 countries. 1 million. 1 million people. And that will put us as a company pretty close to $1 billion a year in sales. $1 billion a year of people ordering our life-changing products, world-class products. And make no mistake, 80%, maybe even 85% of every single person that is in the network, that is in this company, 85% are pretty well just customers. They're not actually building the business. They're just ordering the product consistently on a monthly basis. And that is the strength of residual income. That is where passive income comes from. We do the work once, and we're paid over and over and over again for the rest of our lives. So we do what we have to do for the next 1 to 3 years, part-time. We can do what we want for the rest of our lives. What a concept. I think Jim Rohn, who passed recently, summed it up best. He said, I'm working at my full-time job, earning a living, and I'm building my part-time business to create my fortune. And that's what this call is all about. The leadership, the Millionaires in Training call is about assisting those who have big aspirations, those of us that want to get to the six-figure annual income or multiples of that, 200, 300, 500,000 a year, and those who want to go even further and create a seven-figure income. This call provides some of the extra personal development and skill sets and context to achieve that. And so it's a great time of year to reset our focus and reset our horizons and prepare for the new year. I certainly am. I've got some big goals for 2014, and those goals are specific to working with some new people that I've sponsored and some existing people who are still on the rise in order to help them achieve a six-figure annual income, whatever that takes. I've got one in Sweden. That's why I went out to Sweden last week or 2 weeks ago. And I'm back there in March. I'm already set to be there in March to go back to support that person that I brought in and their efforts to open up not just Scandinavia, but other parts of Europe also. Because I know by helping a few other people create success, I will also continue to advance my own. And so that's what it's all about. That's what we do here at TG International. If you're new on this line, we're here to help you every step of the way. It's a very simple business. We've got world-class products. We've got the system. We've got the tools. We've got the training, and everything that you require to transform your life, if that's what you choose to, if that's what you want, from a financial standpoint. Way to create residual income working from home. You know, you doesn't have to start with the big numbers. You start with a few thousand a month. Start with 1,000 a month. Build it to 3,000 or 4,000 a month. Some people do that very, very quickly here. And within a year, you may find yourself with a whole new path to personal and financial security. And so get back with the person who invited you to this call. They will share with you how you can become part of the team and how you can get plugged into what's happening here at ZJ International. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Millionaires in Training. Just a quick announcement here. If you know anybody in Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and or San Antonio, Texas, or within driving distance of any of those locations, by all means do invite them to come take a look. I promise you this, anybody that is at those meetings will be in your business at the end of the meeting, and they'll be excited at the same time. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, the lines are open. Detroit, Michigan. Bring me some. Virginia.